Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Asian Chamber Chats. I am your host, John Pham, and today we have an episode for you. I am very excited to have this person on because she is an OG to the Chamber. So let me go ahead and introduce you to her. Her name is Cassie Fluitt.
Hi.
Hello there, Cassie.
Hello.
I am very excited that you're on here today.
I'm happy to be here.
How long? It took a while to get you on here, but we finally made it happen.
Yes, I'm happy to be here.
Oh.
It's still slightly hot in the room, but it's okay.
Hey, you know what? Hey, it's all you're gonna do great. So, first off, for our viewers and our listeners that don't know you, tell them more about yourself, your background. You know, how did you get involved with the chamber? Actually, you are the original executive director. So, tell the audience more about yourself.
Yeah. So I was born and raised here in Oklahoma, specifically Midwest City. I'm of half Filipino descent. So my mother's Filipino. My dad is Cajun American, actually,
Oh wow.
from Louisiana, and spent all of my life here in Oklahoma. Went to the University of Oklahoma, where I was able to help start and co-found the Filipino Student Association, and also got to participate in the Mr. and Miss Asian OU pageant, which actually was kind of where that started before the Filipino Student Association. But helped co-found that, was a part of Autism Speaks U and started that chapter at OU, was a small group leader for Camp Crimson and did a multitude of different leadership opportunities at the university. Graduated in 2016 with a bachelor's in social sciences and organizational studies, which is a very long term for sociology and psychology, which was honestly a major that I kind of just made up. But after I graduated, I had ambitions of wanting to get a Fulbright to go teach English in Germany. So my minor is actually in German.
Oh wow. Okay.
I applied for a couple of PhD programs for industrial organizational psychology. Didn't make it into those programs, and I even applied for the Disney College program. And funny enough, none of those things worked out. So I just had to start working full time. So I worked for a bank for a little bit of time. Um, and then I had a friend that was working at an educational startup. And I went there and was the first person to start their curriculum development department, which is kind of what led me in my journey through learning and development. And I spent about 5 years in that career field. And the while, I was also trying to obtain my master's in adult and higher education with a focus on talent development. And after, or I should say, while all of that was happening, I had Ernest Abergar, who was one of the original board members of the Asian Chamber, reach out to me. And this was many years after I had graduated from OU. So let me go back a little bit and just kind of explain how I met him.
Okay.
So when I started the Filipino Student Association, he was a staff member at OU at the time, and he got involved because the Filipino American Student Association was a group that he and his friends were involved with when he was at OU. But unfortunately, by the time that I got to OU, that organization was dead. So hence why we had to start the Filipino Student Association. And so when he found out, he got involved as a staff member, attended a lot of our events, and I got to kind of know him through that organization. And then when I graduated, we actually lost contact for a little bit, but we stayed friends on Facebook. And then he reached out to me, I want to say April of 2022, and was like, hey, we're starting a Asian Chamber of Commerce. Um, I thought about you and your leadership when you were at OU and was really impressed by you. And I want to see if you would be interested in helping start an Asian Chamber of Commerce. And when he sent me that message, I mean, my first thought was, what is a Chamber of Commerce? Because I never really knew much about it. Like, you hear about them, they're obviously in every single city, like, they have involvement with the community, but I had to do a little bit of research to find out that it was focused on businesses and entrepreneurs. And so my first thought was, can I really be a part of this? Because I was just a working professional. At this particular time, I was a manager of learning and organizational development at a healthcare company. And I was in my master's full time. So, one, I thought, well, I'm not an entrepreneur, not a business owner. How can I really be involved? But then my second thought was, do I have the time or the capacity? Because I'm doing both of my job full time and my master's full time.
Yeah.
And so I reached back out to him and was like, I don't know, I'm a little hesitant about whether I really should be involved with this or not. And he was like, just come to a meeting, and after the meeting, you can tell me what your thoughts were. And, he had to kind of pull my leg a little bit. But after going to that first meeting and being involved with all these really incredible people in the room, Scarlett Lee Cowell being one of those individuals, I had realized, no, yeah, okay, I got to get involved with this. I want to be involved with this. And so it's kind of how I got there. And not long after we had started the organization, which took off pretty rapidly in January of 2023, we were looking towards having an executive director. And so when they started thinking or talking about trying to hire someone or having someone be that first executive director, I thought about it for a little while, and I finally got to a point where I thought, you know what? I want to be considered. I want to put my name in the hat and be considered for that. So applied, had to go through the interviews, despite everyone already kind of knowing me and my work ethic. But by May of 2023, I became the first executive director.
Awesome.
Or was it May of 2023? Yeah. 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 Okay. It's been a second. Yes. So yes, it's May of 2023.
That's amazing because, I mean, I have to thank you because if it wasn't for your post about the Asian chamber, I wouldn't even know about it.
Really?
So, yeah, you actually brought light to me because I was like, Cassie, Asian chamber? Is there really Asian chamber? So, thanks to you, like, I found out about the chamber. So, again, I would like to thank you and the time that you served, which enlightened me and motivated me to serve onto the board.
I'm glad
But
that post reached you.
yeah, you did social media too.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, like, what were your thoughts when the chamber started happening? Like, when you got the position as executive director, how did you feel? Like, did you feel any type of emotions, like stress or anything like that, or what was your initial thought?
Absolutely. That's so funny because I mean, the first month I started was AAPI month, or Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. So I had to look at my hours, I think that month, and I worked over 200 hours just to get
Wow.
like caught up and to attend all of the different events that were happening in the community. So to say I was stressed is a very like, yes, absolutely, I was stressed, but I was so excited about it too, because what a month to be able to start that.
Yeah.
That was also the first month and first year that we did our gala. So, I mean, there was a multitude of things happening. Actually, around that time, I graduated with my master's too, which unfortunately I didn't even get to go to my graduation ceremony because, funny enough, I got COVID for the first time ever
Wow.
on that day. But then I had to like take a week to heal because the week after was the gala. And I was like, I have to be healthy and I have to get to the gala. So I rested for a whole week. And was also thankful because Scarlett had sent this really wonderful care package and did like all she could to try to help me get better by that time. But it was really, I mean, that first month I was, of course, like nervous, right? Because this was when I was going to go on stage and be like surrounded by more people. For a long while, I had a little bit of a fear of talking in front of a large crowd of people
Hmm.
and never thought I was a great public speaker or um, I never felt very confident with that. So I also had to kind of start getting myself more exposed. And on top of that, I mean, I was working remotely and also like doing my master's all online too. So, I was more exposed to people in public than I ever had been in a long while. So, yes, there was nervousness. I was stressed because I had to attend events, but I also was trying to kind of get us up to speed and caught up on some of the things that needed to happen months before. Because when we started the chamber, we had members that joined that we hadn't had a chance to reach out to. There were a lot of backlogged kind of like items and things that needed to be taken care of with marketing and with our website and with really a lot of different factors. And so, um, I kind of just had to put my head down. I had to organize my calendar and just make sure, okay, I'm going to be at this event, but I'm going to take this time to work on these particular things. And then I had to kind of start figuring out what I was going to do after API month was over. But yeah,
Wow.
there was so much happening that month.
Hey, and you pulled it through. So, I mean, like you made it happen. Like you, Scarlett, and all the OGs of the board, you guys made it happen. And so you guys made it fruitful for us. So we thank you. And like you literally paved the way for me. So thank you for that, Cassie. Um, Following up with that question, I've asked Aaron and Scarlett this in the previous episode, but did you ever encounter any barriers? Since you were the original executive director, you pretty much grew with the chamber. So, did you experience any type of pushback from the Asian community or just wherever when this started coming up?
Definitely. I will say that one of the things I vividly remember from the first gala was because I was posting and like sharing a lot of like posts that we were tagging on our social media pages. And particularly, there was a post that someone shared of me on the stage, and someone commented on that photo and said, just a bunch of people trying to highlight themselves and brag about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And, that I took that to heart because I'm like, someone else posted that of me. It wasn't me, like,
Yeah,
posting on myself, or like, it wasn't us like posting our own post, if that makes sense.
yeah,
But, I kind of was taken back by that because for the most part, we had a lot of really great support from the community. But I think that that kind of alarmed me a little bit because I'm like, well, this is going to be part of that. There's going to be people out there that think that we're, we're trying to promote some type of, uh, chamber that's like not for others in the community. There were people that were thinking that we were involved with certain, overseas politics that were not necessarily, well, they weren't true at all.
yeah,
Our whole goal was to support our Asian businesses and our professionals, but also, make it to where people can come and help support one another. We wanted to connect people in the community. But that was somewhat of a barrier, but not. What I was thankful for was that that was one post, and I didn't really see as much of that going forward. And I think it was because we spent a lot of time really trying to involve other people, even other non-Asian community members, to come and get to meet our community and like just get to know and network with one another. But I think another barrier that was kind of in place was ensuring that all of our different Asian heritages were involved.
yeah,
Because I think a lot of the times when we think of Asian, or I feel like it's very natural to think East and Southeast Asians, right?
yeah,
But we also forget that there's West and there's South and there's Central and North. And sure, we don't have as much of the North and Central community here in Oklahoma City, although they might be here and they might just be hidden and kind of, below the radar a
yeah,
little bit. But we do have actually very large South and West Asian communities. And I think that originally there were people that thought that might, like from those communities, that thought that we might not be here for them, which was far from the truth.
yeah,
But I think with having members that were involved from those communities on our board, like Tasneem Al Michael, for example. Eventually, we have Farouk, who's one of now the VPs of the chamber, and then having some of those other individuals from those communities involved that helped break that barrier. That I think it also kind of showed a lot of individuals in our community that we're here for everyone, and we are a much stronger voice, but also we can make much more of an impact when we're all together and we're helping each other. So it was a barrier that kind of was something that was there for a little while until eventually we just started kind of bringing people in, having them come to our events and really just getting to know them and their stories and then sharing their stories with one another. Because I think that was the big thing.
Yeah.
Because once we started sharing our stories, we started to realize we had so much more in common than we did apart.
Oh, for sure. Like, and I agree with you. Like, the barriers have broken because I would say when people think of Asian chamber, they think of like Japanese, Chinese, Korean, but they don't think, like you said, like the West and the Central and all that. So um, it's funny that you brought that up because if you look at the board from beginning to now, like we are very diverse of our culture. We actually have I believe two, Andreas and Daniel Garcia, who is
Yeah.
Hispanic,
Hmm.
and they're on our board. So I'm glad that you brought that up because it's not just focus on like we focus on Asian businesses,
Hmm.
but our team is much diverse
Yes.
than what people think. So I'm glad that you brought that up. Um, so from the beginning, from the inception of the chamber until now, knowing like I know that you left the chamber, but what was your how did we evolve? Like how did the chamber evolve in your eyes from
Ooh.
then until now?
I mean, we started off originally with 15 members, right? Which was the original board,
Yeah.
and that started in July of 2022. By January of 2023, I think we had at least maybe 30 or 40 members. I don't know. We started gathering more members at the time, but I mean, to think that we went from that to now over 300 members
Yeah.
within a couple years is pretty crazy. And like, I think most people would be, well, actually, I'll just say most other chambers that I encountered, executive directors, I mean, especially more city chambers,
Yeah.
were really impressed by seeing how many members we were able to grow to in a couple of years. But I think the other thing is like, I mean, of course, we have a diversity of different minds and different backgrounds and experiences. Um, Not that we didn't have that in the beginning with the board, but now I feel like it's even more like we have people from different communities involved, right? Like we have a good partnership with the Black Chamber, the Hispanic Chamber, the American Indian Chamber, and that was formed over the last couple years as well. But um, I think that there has just been a tremendous amount of growth, and then even the variety of events that we've offered. Because the first year we had a golf tournament, second year we did community day, this year we did a business conference, and so I mean we've evolved our types of events that we have offered the community to try to get more ways to connect people and give them resources and really kind of bring outside minds and experiences to the chamber. And it's just, I mean, it's honestly really incredible to see how we went from that small little member, like the board of 15, to now like an organization with 300 plus members and more to come because our community is so big. And I think the number was 8,300 Asian owned businesses within the OKC metro.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I hope to be able to see more of that in the
Oh,
next few years.
for sure we will. Um, Now, since you brought up the events, you know
Mhm.
what? I want to pivot to that lane really quick. So starting out until now, all the events that we had, what was your most memorable event? Or in general, what I would say, I know all of our events are amazing. We have the best events. Every time I go to a chamber event, I know I'm going to meet people and I know I'm going to have a good time. All
Mhm.
right. But in your own opinion, what was your favorite event?
Mhm.
And what was the event that you loved being involved with? That you said, you know what, this is it, this is my baby, or whichever events.
Yeah, I would say it would be Community Day because that was kind of a little bit of my brainchild. And of
Okay.
course, like I brought in like it was something I thought about when I was driving down the highway randomly, like one day, I guess it was in 2023. I was thinking about what event had I been involved with when I was a student at OU that was so impactful to me. And so, being a part of the Filipino Student Association, we got involved with the Texas Filipino Student Associations and created a coalition, which was the South or Southern Intercollegiate Filipino Alliance.
Okay.
And that helped us get involved with a event called Goodfill. So Goodfill is a 3-day event that happens at one of the Texas schools, and it's a competition, like a dance competition, the first day, and then the last 2 days are sports competitions where they do basketball, soccer, like there's probably some other sports, and I'm not a sport person, so I can't remember what they all are at the current moment. But I mean, it was so cool getting to go to that event because there were students from all of the different Filipino student associations, but they were all of different backgrounds. It wasn't just all Filipino students. It was of every single group. Like, and to also see that they were all, even though we were all competing against each other in some ways, there was also this like spirit of community.
Yeah.
They would go to the bars and stuff afterwards, and like, you get to meet students from Texas A&M or from another neighboring school, and get to create friendships. And it was just really impactful and cool to see these different groups come together, cheer each other on, but also have this like spirit of community and networking and all of that. And I think it was so impactful that I thought about it and thought, how can we bring that to the chamber, and how can we bring that here?
Yeah.
And so I thought, like, well, maybe we could do something that's similar. Of course, it's not for students, it'd be for adults, but I'm like, maybe we could take that idea and kind of morph it into something that would be applicable for our chamber.
Yeah.
And so I worked with Paul on, Justin Lay, and I think it might have been Crystal Halone. And the four of us had kind of started just formulating like what would this look like, and we wanted to start small and start with that inner group so that we can kind of create something that wouldn't be too large scale, but then we can bring it to the board and say, hey, what are your thoughts on this? But with the help of those individuals, we were able to put in a lot of work in planning and having it at Scissortail Park, which was really impressive. Like, if you go onto the Asian Chambers page and go back down to some videos, which actually one of them was something that Erin Chen created for us. It's really beautiful, but you'll see like this row of vendors. We had a whole soccer tournament that was happening that day. There was a talent show, so people were able to show off their different cultures and dances, and some sang and did a little bit of everything. And then there was pickleball court, and it was so cool to see all of our different community members be there, to have some of our different businesses get to have a booth and to have their food trucks out. But um, I remember also that day was really hot, so I remember having to walk around all of lower end Scissortail Park, and I think if I remember correctly, I had like 26,000 steps in that day. But I mean, I was really happy to see just the way the community came out, and how our board and even like our members really came together and like were able to celebrate and enjoy that event. So that was kind of a little bit of like my brainchild that got like formulated into something a lot bigger. But I think that would be the event that I would say is my favorite.
Yeah, and I mean that community day was, so when I came on board as a, not a committee, I wasn't a committee member yet. I was just a member that was volunteering,
Mhm.
because I reached out to you about it. That day I met, I would say, half of the board. Paul, Taz, Jacqueline. I met everyone there, and that got me involved into becoming a committee. So that event itself, thank you for that. It was fun. Like, it was probably like the most fun I've had. Don't get me wrong, I've had fun at all of our events, but it was more laid back. Like, We wore T-shirts. We were
Mhm.
involved with the community. It was fun. And one of the great things about that was the soccer tournament because,
Mhm.
funny enough, people when I posted about the committee, um, about the community day event, people were reaching out to me and said, "Oh, you know, there's a soccer. Are you going to be at the soccer tournament?" At that time, I couldn't make it to the soccer tournament
Yeah.
due to work, and then I had other things that I had to do. Like I came at my volunteer time, but the soccer and the vendors was wow. People were hyping it up, and it was a great experience because afterwards, like people were excited about it. So thank you for that, Cassie. Like I actually didn't know that. I didn't know Community Day was your thing.
Yeah,
So
it
now
was.
I know.
The marketing for Community Day, I made that. Like I drew the little characters too.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
and that was I started I do art on the side and
Yeah.
I never really had an opportunity to kind of just create like marketing materials like or draw marketing materials.
Yeah.
So like the little it was supposed to be a scissor tail and the feather like cuz there's the feather statue in Scissortail Park. I drew those two little characters and
Oh, nice.
so I think that's also part of why I was like that's a little bit my child too because I made little cute characters.
See, I did not know that, guys. She told me. Now I know. I was like, wow, this is cool. But she was the brainchild behind it and the creator. So thank you for that. That's something new for me. Um, but where do you see uh, now that you are on the outside
Mhm,
of it? I know you're a little bit involved with the chamber, like assisting us in some type of way.
mhm,
But now that you are a person from the outside looking in,
mhm,
where do you see, or where would you like to see our chamber go in the next, I would say, 5 to 10 years?
mhm. I would say I would really hope to see more voices get highlighted in our community. We have a multitude of just really wonderful business owners and individuals that have stories to share. And I think that was the thing that I loved the most about being a part of the chamber was getting to meet all of our different business owners and professionals and getting to like learn about them. Why did they start their businesses or where did they come from? Like what made them come to Oklahoma and settle in Oklahoma, right?
Yeah,
Um, but like what I loved in that process was learning like just the passion and the like the absolute love of wanting to like share their gifts, right? Share their talents and make an impact in the community. And I think that some of these stories I feel like don't get told often enough. And it's important that we do tell those stories. I think that we need to have our voices be shared and to learn that a lot of individuals may have stories similar to us, but we would have not known unless we took the time to have a conversation with them, right? Or maybe we took the time to watch a video on the Chambers page and find out, wow, like that person went through the same kind of stories or struggles that I might have had when I started my business, but I want to go and support them because I see that they've been able to like really grow and I want to learn from them, right? And see what I can take from them. And I mean, storytelling I think is something that's really vital and something I'd love to see that be more of with
yeah,
the next coming years. I mean, of course I want to see more involvement with the community and get more like chamber members involved, right? Like no, who doesn't want to see an organization grow?
exactly.
But I think another thing is I'd love to even see internally the organization grow with having more staff members, right? Having more support for the executive director because I think a lot of the times, like outside looking in, the executive director makes things look really easy. But being the person that was the first executive director, that was hard. It was very,
Yeah,
very difficult having to come up with like work life balance, like having to be constantly on. And like, even when you're on, like, you're just out and about on the weekends and stuff, like you run into a chamber member, you're at a restaurant or a place where you see someone and then you have to
yeah,
still kind of, be a little bit in that, like, okay, I'm here, I'm showing up, and I'm being the executive director of the chamber. I think support for the executive director and having more staff members is really vital and something that I would love to see with the chamber. But I think too, having more resources, finding more ways to get people involved and really connect with one another is really critical. And then, of course, like advocating for the needs of our business community and our professionals too.
Oh, awesome. Awesome, that's for sure. Um, well, there's one thing that, again, like the work that you do is amazing, and it gives inspiration for younger generation. And speaking of younger generation, a friend of mine, which you know her too, Michelle Wynn,
Yes.
she told me, this is months ago, but she messaged me. She's like, "OMG, you know Cassie Fluitt?" I was like, "Yes, I do." Actually, she was on the board, and
Yeah.
she's like, "Well, Cassie is a big inspiration. I mean, as an Asian American young woman growing up, like she is a big inspiration." So, to all the Asian American little girls, women out there, that says that you are their inspiration, what advice or what tips do you give them for someone that's up and coming?
Mhm.
So to be like you.
Well, first I will say that, it's so, there's a lot of times where when people tell me those things, I'm like, it like pulls my heartstrings because I'm like, I, it's so, I think, amazing to know that because a lot of the times I'm not, what I do is because I want to help others. I'm not
Yeah.
thinking about how are other people perceiving the things that I'm doing. Like, I just genuinely want to help other people succeed and to give them the help and guidance and empower them to be able to be successful and to believe in themselves. But I think that's actually what I would say is I think, and I would say this is even not only just for Asian American women and young women and um, professionals. I would say that this would be for really any um, one from our community. I think one, like we constantly need to be advocating and also like being proud of what, well, I should say, we need to constantly advocate for ourselves and believe in ourselves. I think that's the first thing, right? But then we also need to be able to take the time to be proud of the accomplishments that we have and celebrate them. Because I think that a lot of the times we work really hard and there is this mindset that has been instilled in us from our parents and their parents and all the generations before them that we've constantly had to work hard, right? We need to succeed, we need to have high paying positions, do all the, like the fancy lawyer, or no, actually they won't probably say lawyer, but they want you to be the doctor, a nurse, like I'm trying to think of what other positions, go into IT, whatever it may be. They tell us constantly we need to like work really hard, we need to get to the top, but then we need to put our head down and not talk about it,
Yeah.
not boast, not brag. You're taught to be like super, super humble. And then two, like you're constantly like in this battle, like whatever I'm doing is not enough. And I have to do more. Like it's not enough that I already finally got to this, position or this top paying position or whatever at the age of 30. I need to be like CEO. I need to be, whatever, my own business owner. And I have to have this many thousands of dollars or millions of dollars in revenue and whatever it may be. But I think what that does when we're working so hard and we're just constantly in this mode of we have to continuously do that is one, we don't take the time to actually look at what we've been able to do and say, wow, I've done a lot. Like there's individuals out there my age that have not had this much life experience or have not done these things. And like we need to celebrate it with people around us that make us feel good and like they support us and give us that encouragement and that love and that strength, right? Um and then two, I think we need to like be proud of ourselves in that process and say like, I was able to do all of these hard things. And like and take that time to really reflect upon like okay, like Yes, I want to continuously grow. There's nothing wrong with wanting to improve yourself, right? And to get to the next level and whatever. I'm a lifelong learner, and I will proudly say that I'm a lifelong learner, and I always know that there's things I can do to improve. And in fact, probably after this, I'm going to listen to this and be like, I should have said that differently. Like I should have said this and this and this. But like, I think we also have to say, well, I also was the same person that finally did her first podcast. This is her first podcast.
Wow. Okay.
So like I have to like sit there a little bit and think, okay, look at what I've been able to do and say, this is what I have been able to accomplish, and the big thing and why I say all of this is because when we don't, like we will just get into the grind of working, working, working. It leads to depression. It leads to high anxiety. It leads to like all of those things factoring into our physical health. And then when our physical health is down, we can't give and do more for others, right? But also, we're diminishing and not like we're diminishing our history and we're not talking about the things that we've been able to do. Like, let me ask you this, right?
Okay.
So, when you think of Asian American, Pacific Islander, and Native Hawaiian Heritage Month, can you name 5 historical Asian or Native American or Pacific Islander leaders?
Wow.
And like, so
I honestly, I can.
yeah,
I can.
and I think most people can't. And why? I think it was because we were told to work hard, but don't boast, don't brag,
Yeah.
keep your head down, don't talk about the things that you do. And then what that does, so what it's done, it's erased our history.
Yeah.
Right? We don't have role models that we can look up to and people that we can say, I want to be like that person. And a lot of the generations, like my generation, the generations like under me have thought, well, who can I really look up to? Like, I know that we have had successful people in our family and stuff, but we don't really truly know what hardships they've been through, what they had to do to get to those positions, And so I think that's why it's really important for us to talk about and celebrate and like to share our stories and to kind of like start becoming those individuals that can be the role models for the generations, our generation below us, and future generations too. I think that if we don't, who will?
Yeah, and I totally agree. Like I'm glad that you gave that answer because you're right. Like I can't name anyone. Like you stumped me, but at the same time, like the answer that you gave was so inspirational. And I'm sure anyone that listens and watches this podcast, like will look at that and be like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. Like I could definitely do it,
Mhm.
and we need to show for it. So that's like a great answer that you've given that I know will inspire the viewers that and the listeners for this podcast. So, you know, like looking back, man, I can't even fathom like, man, where I didn't think like that. I
Mhm.
mean, like I grew up where it was like, you're right. You go to work, you go to school, you succeed. You
Mhm.
know, you don't talk about it. Like your life goal is just do this, and this,
Right.
and be successful.
Mhm.
But we live in a different generation. We live in different times now where it's like, it's good to motivate others. It's good to
Yes.
be like, hey guys, if I can do it and I'm here, you guys could do it too.
Absolutely.
So for the younger generation, I mean, it's a good thing and for us to talk about it because we don't want to make it taboo. We want to make it a norm.
Exactly. It needs to be a norm. Because when we don't, I mean, that's why we hear about so many people in our communities like silently suffering
Yeah.
and even having to hear about silent suicides,
Yeah.
right? And that's the last thing I want to hear about anyone from our community.
Yeah.
And so, yes, we have to talk about it when we need to encourage each other and empower each other. Say, I believe in you.
Yeah.
Because I do. I believe in you too. And
Thank
everyone
you.
around us. Like, we have to start encouraging and believing in each other. And also, when we know we have that win, that we got that promotion at work, we got some big project that off our plate that took us a year to do so, we need to go out and say, hey, let's go and have dinner. Or let's get a cake and just say yes. Look
Yeah,
at us. We did it.
we did it. We did it. Speaking of cake, before we wrap this up,
Uh-huh.
what is your favorite dish?
Ooh. Mm-hmm. Okay, actually, I know this one so well. It is bangos, which is milkfish, and it's a delicacy in the Philippines. It's a very bony fish, although you can get it boneless too. And actually, the boneless one to me is not as good as the one with the bones. I don't know. There's something about having to pick out the bones and eating it with rice that just makes it so 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 good. But I think too, it just kind of brings me back to my childhood a little bit because when I was little, my mom would get a whole bangos. She would cut it up into little pieces, and then she'd sit there and take all of the bones out, put a little bit of fish with rice, and then just like feed me, you know. And so I think there's a little bit of that nostalgia, like of that was like it was just such a little fun thing for me as a child. But
Yeah.
on top of that, it's just super delicious, and if you can get it with fresh calamansi or like it's or calamandine, it's either or. I forgot which one's like there's like the English term and then there's the Filipino term, but I think calamansi is the Filipino term. But it's essentially the lime of the Philippines. It's native to the Philippines. You can have that with fresh like fried bangos. Solid.
Okay.
So beautiful.
Can you cook it?
Well, no, I haven't tried because you have to have like a pretty good one, you have to have a bigger kitchen. I have a very tiny kitchen right now, so I can't really make much at all. But the other thing is it's easier if you have a deep fryer, and I don't have a
Okay.
deep fryer because it splatters and it just can be really, really messy. So if you have a good deep fryer at home, definitely go to like Super Cow and grab like I would probably recommend get the boneless one because you have to, again, if you get the whole fish and have to like get all the little bones out, you can potentially choke on them, and I don't want anyone to do that. So
That'll be bad.
get the boneless one,
Get the boneless one.
just throw it into the deep fryer.
That's
Trust me
awesome.
on it.
That is awesome. Thank you so much, Cassie. Like, thank you for taking your time off, and being on the show. Like, we truly appreciate it. Like, my goal was like I had to get you on. Being an original and OG from the chamber until now, like I was like, you know what? Cassie needs to be on, hands down. Like she was the OG executive director. We need to get her on. So thank you for being on the show, and we appreciate you. Um, before we go, is there anything you'd like to say before we?
Ooh, oh man, you're like hitting me with a hard question there. I think I just want to say to everyone in our community, like, you know, we are in a lot, like, we're in like an interesting time period of life. But I want to say, like, continue to lean on the community. Know that you're not alone and what you're going through. Like if you're having struggles with having to start a business, you're struggling with your career or whatever you have, or you just need some good friends to spend time with, like, you know, come and utilize the chamber for that. Like get involved and you'll end up meeting so many really wonderful people that are here to support. And also, if you need someone to be your cheerleader, even if I might not know you, you can reach out, and I will be happy to cheer you on and empower you whenever you need.
That's
So
great. That's great. And you will be speaking at the YPL, correct?
I will be, yes. So, yep, I will be speaking on cultural bridges and barriers.
Awesome. Can you tell our viewers and our listeners, the date and the time
Mhm.
that you'll be speaking?
I believe, and you might have to correct me if I'm wrong here. I think it's September 26th,
Okay.
at 9 a.m.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Guys, go check her out. She is a great speaker and a great motivator. Like Cassie is top notch. So, if you're free, you guys have nothing to do, go out and check Cassie out whenever she's doing that class. So, that being said, thank you so much, Cassie.
thank you.
We're happy to have you on and continue to be involved with the community.
Absolutely.
So
Thanks so much.
yeah, for sure. So that being said, make sure to check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Make sure to click, like, and subscribe to our page. With that, again, thank you so much, and we're out.
Bye bye.